HP's Business Service Management Solution, and I want to welcome you to the Vivid webinar, What's New in BSM, the Innovation Tour and Demonstrations. And this is brought to you by HP and Vivid. And again, this is a picture of me when I was younger, but I still use this picture. Anyway, I'm the Director of Product Marketing for BSM. I've been in HP since the mid-90s. I've been in HP software since 2001. And I've been in the BSM space since 2005 in various roles in product management and product marketing. I've been, led the product management group for the application performance management team, for storage, for the BSM platform, and I've been in product marketing for network management and product management for network management. So I've been around the BSM products really for the past 10 years. And I'm going to be presenting today along with members of the BSM product marketing team shown here. So first is Ian Bromhead. Ian is the Senior Product Marketing Manager for our Operations Bridge product. And he's going to be giving an update on our Operations Bridge. Michael Procopio is the Product Marketing Manager for our Storage Operations Management product, and Michael's also a Product Marketing Manager that helps out in social media. Sancha Norris is our Product Marketing Manager for Operations Analytics, and Eric Odell is our Product Marketing Manager for our Application Performance Management Suite and products. So everyone's going to be presenting today. And we have really a great agenda for you, which we'll cover in a minute. So just some quick housekeeping items. This session is live. It's being recorded, and recordings will be made available to all the Vivid members. And we will have a session Q&A at the end, but you can log your questions throughout the presentation in the question window, which you can find in the webinar control panel. Just expand the question chat box, and you can type in your question there. So now let's move into the What's New in BSM presentation. So this is actually a presentation we gave at HP Discover, and it covers all of the things that we announced in Discover and over the past few months. And I'm going to kick it off with just an intro to business service management, some of our latest messaging, which is aligned to the new HP Enterprise messaging that was also announced at Discover. So I'll kick off the presentation and do a very quick introduction, and then we're going to spend most of the time demonstrating the new capabilities in APM, in the Operations Bridge, in Ops Analytics, and in the new Storage Operations Manager product. So you're going to see the products live during this presentation today, and each of the presenters that I just introduced will kind of walk you through what's new and give you a demo of each of the product areas. So the context, the strategic context for business service management is really focused on the digital revolution. 50% of businesses expect to be digital businesses in the next 24 months. You've probably heard this from me before if you attended the What's New session that we did in March. But and everyone sort of has a favorite example of a digital business. Mine is Uber. Uber, as you know, has completely transformed and disrupted the taxi industry. Big innovations in the taxi industry were going from the horse and buggy to cars, and that industry has been sort of stagnant for a long time. You get in the car and pay your fare, and that's it. Uber comes along and develops an on-demand taxi personal driver service, creating a totally different experience, business model, and has completely disrupted the taxi industry with essentially a mobile application. And that's what the digital revolution is about. I think Uber epitomizes a digital business and the digital revolution. And modern applications are the foundation for digital business. exceptional user experience is the currency. You know, that Uber experience where you get in the car, it's a clean, fresh car. You know, the driver turns around and hands you a bottle of water. You know, you can see the car approaching you on your mobile phone. You know exactly where it is and how close the car is and what the driver looks like and what the car looks like. And you get out, you know, complete that experience, or you complete the ride and get out of the car, and they automatically bill you. In fact, I had a friend who had, you know, questioned the route home that the Uber driver took, and she called up Uber, and they were able to trace the route home. And so they said, sure enough, you know, your driver is new, didn't know the area. You took a longer route home, and they credited her the difference because they had a digital trace of her path home. So user experience, modern applications fuel digital business, and digital business demands a new monitoring approach. You know, focused on that user experience, focused on those modern applications, and focused on a massively scalable environment beyond, you know, the capacity for traditional monitoring systems and requiring a big data approach. So, you know, we're in the midst of this transformation from the traditional IT to the digital world, where in the traditional IT, which is still important, and the majority of, you know, of the environments out there where, you know, cost containment, efficiency, hardened systems and networks, storing and managing data, and automating business systems are the key requirements to, you know, the digital world, the digital enterprise world, which is about creating outcomes and disrupting businesses and continuously delivering new services, and, you know, driving real-time insight and understanding, and differentiating your systems of engagement and products and services. And HP is your partner to enable this transformation from traditional to the digital enterprise. And we support, you know, four main kind of value propositions to enable this transformation: transforming to a hybrid infrastructure, protecting your digital enterprise, empowering the data-driven organization, and enabling workplace productivity. And business service management is a part of that transformation to the digital enterprise, to enable the on-demand foundation for 100% of the apps and workloads that power your enterprise. And we do this within BSM and within IT operations management, by enabling you to automate, orchestrate, and transform. That is the journey that customers need to take to move from traditional IT to the digital enterprise. And we provide that prescriptive path to help our customers, you know, make that transformation, where, you know, they start with convergence and modernization and standardization. They automate tasks to maximize efficiency. They orchestrate processes to drive agility and transform delivery to provide that you know, required customer experience, that exceptional customer experience, and transform their environments to a hybrid cloud and digital enterprise. And we provide, you know, analytics across that journey to support the new requirements of management. So more specifically, if we look from a BSM perspective, or an IT operations management perspective, you know, the first phase of the journey is about automating tasks and maximizing efficiency. And, you know, the key capabilities there are domain automation. So that's like, you know, network management, automating network management. So with very few people, you can manage a global enterprise network. From an availability standpoint, a performance standpoint, a configuration standpoint, a compliance standpoint, you know, discovering the network, monitoring the network, automatically determining the root cause, automatically ensuring the compliance of those network devices, is part of this, the automation phase. And it's network management, it's storage management, it's application performance management, and operations management. So automating all of the tasks across that operation spectrum to drive maximum efficiency. And the second phase is around orchestrating processes to drive agility, to drive speed. So here is where you see DevOps and closed-loop incident and problem management, both of which are very relevant in the BSM space. So within DevOps, as you know, we support features to that enable that collaboration and facilitate processes across development, testing, and operations. So leveraging, application performance management in development, supporting JUnit tests, or in testing to catch performance issues before they're released into production, and then of course in production as well to manage the availability performance of applications across the software development lifecycle. Or closed-loop incident and process management. So automatically detecting, isolating, diagnosing, then managing an incident, recovering or restoring or repairing that incident in a closed-loop process between monitoring and event management and incident management and automation. We're able to support that closed-loop incident process and facilitate even lights-out operations, automatically fixing issues that are automatically detected and automatically understood and isolated. And then the third phase for this transformation from traditional to the digital enterprise is focused on transforming delivery. And this is about hybrid cloud management. And there, within our Ops Bridge, we support over 100 out-of-the-box integrations. The traditional technologies and the new technologies, Puppet, Chef, Azure, Amazon, all of the cloud technologies, and really facilitating and supporting the ability to manage this hybrid environment. Public clouds, SaaS-based services, private cloud services, all from a common global command center or operations bridge. You can feed all of that data, all of the availability, event, performance data into the operations bridge and have a single pane of glass over your hybrid environment. And providing mobile user experience and application user experience to ensure that you're delivering that Uber-like experience through your digital businesses. And we'll get a good demonstration of that very soon. So, so this slide is really just a transition slide. This is a kind of a teaser slide to what Ian's going to show after Eric presents AppPulse Mobile. But this is our new business value dashboards, which are we announced at HP Discover. It's a beta version of the business value dashboards that enable you to color your IT data, really combine business and IT data with easy to create dashboards that we support. It's responsive to design, HTML5. It'll work on a phone or a tablet or on a desktop, and allows you to really show the alignment between business performance and IT performance for from sort of the CIO's office to the the NOC operators, and supports many different customizable dashboards for many different personas, and you'll get a demonstration of this very shortly. So with that brief intro, I want to turn it over to the illustrious Eric Odell, who is our product marketing manager for application performance management. And Eric is going to provide us with a demonstration of AppPulse Mobile. So Eric, over to you.
Hello everyone, this is Eric Odell, as Joe said, Senior Product Marketing Manager for the AppPulse product. you know, as we take a look at what's new in AppPulse Mobile, I want you to consider the challenges of the mobile app development team for just a moment. First, businesses are challenged by a new breed of customer. Mobile computing has raised the expectations of the users, and they use native mobile apps to get what they want, when they want it, and they want it now. So if they But this places a considerable amount of pressure on the mobile app development team, as there are over 2,500 different mobile device types, and there are more than 100 different operating systems. So when you combine that with the potential for dozens to hundreds of possible user flows and actions for each mobile app, you're looking at the perfect storm. Simply put, how does a mobile app team know how the code will behave for every permutation? So what was tested well in the lab, it can fail in the field. Ability to isolate. Good. It says right here that it's fair, but if you want to get a 5-star mobile app, what are you going to do? You want to get 100. You want to get it up here in this green area. So where have you lost your points? You've lost your points, 10 of them, due to stability, with crashes, 2 points due to errors. You've lost points here for UI performance due to a slow UI, and you've also lost points here for resource usage. It appears here for cellular data usage. But your biggest points here have been lost due to stability, and we want to take a look at the crashes. So what do we see here? AppPulse Mobile measures everything according to the user actions, and what it's going to give you here are the actions that have caused the most crashes. So what we see here on the daily average is that there's, in the last 7 days, according to the filter that we've put here, that we've had 225 users that have experienced crashes. And what has that been according to the user action? They were on the check deposit screen, and they were tapping the scan button. They were trying to scan in a check and make a deposit. So you see how, rather than just measuring network requests, we're measuring this according to the business need. So we're tying it into where the business is making its revenue, where the business, what is important to the business. Now, with these users that have experienced daily average 225 crashes, there's been 1,764 crashes on this particular app version of 2.8. Now, with the summer release, the brand new release of AppPulse Mobile, we're able to drill in just a little further. We used to just give you the exception stack trace, but now we've gone further by providing you the device state, so you can see the app version, the operating system, the device type, the connection speed, free RAM, the free disk space, and the battery life. Also knowing was the orientation of the device in landscape, portrait mode, and of course whether it was rooted. Is this a jailbroken device? Could that have caused the problem? And again, new to AppPulse Mobile in the summer release is the crash trail. Now, this kind of looks like a subway map, but it really maps out the actions that the user took from the point of launch all the way to the point that they crashed. So we can see screen by screen where they logged in, what they tapped. They went to the accounts, the account screen. They went to the money transfer, and again to an account screen. And all along the way, we see the actions that they took. They tapped the menu button. They tapped the transfer button. They selected an item from the transfer date drop-down list, and so on and so forth, all the way to the crash. Now, there's even more here to take a look at, and that is these other things here that we call breadcrumbs. And in these automated breadcrumbs, using the SDK, developers are able to put in other information that they want to track and find out, to dig in, first off, was the login successful? Were they connected to did the HTTP request, was it successful? Also, another thing that the developer wanted to know right here was the camera cache memory. Was that low or was that fine? So now they can make an assessment based upon all of these things that you see here on the screen, based upon the actions of the user, based upon the memory of the cache, and also based upon this device state. Was it an old operating system? Was it an old device? And now you can make some better assessments as to what was causing the problem for this crash. And then it goes beyond that. We've talked about ways that you can measure the user actions and that you can focus in on the very specific items that cause these crashes, but it's most important that you're able to go beyond the measure and the focus and go into a state of improvement. And so how are we going to do that? And that's only by sharing this defect. And so now with the summer release, we've added in the ability to submit a defect directly into defect management software such as Jira or AGM. And what does this provide for you? It automatically populates your defect management software with all the issues that we just covered with that particular crash. So we now know that a summary that this App Pulse Mobile detected a crash. It was on a particular screen with a check deposit, and we know what the user did. We also have a description of the entire experience, the entire session. And why is this important? This is important because the developer needs to save time because they need to be able to reproduce what happened. And so this gives the step-by-step, screen by screen, what did the user do, and then it also takes them down to the exception code. And of course, everything that was in the device state, you can see, you simply submit, and now it's automatically populated, and of course, the development team can then prioritize and fix those problems that are having the greatest impact. So when we were looking at our FunDeck score, we lost a lot of points due to the crashes. But what else can we look at? As we looked at that 83 FunDeck score, we lost 5 points due to UI performance. So we want to dig into that and find out what's going on. And again, as I stated before, App Pulse Mobile measures everything based upon the user actions, not just the network requests. So we want to determine, was this a network issue or is this something that's more on the client side? And as you know, developers who are developing web applications, they have the ability to check out what's going on the server side as well as the client side. But in the mobile world, the client side is sitting in the hands of the mobile users, so they don't have access to that. And that's where App Pulse Mobile comes in, giving the developers the visibility into what's happening on the client side. Here we see actions that were taking over 2 seconds, and industry standard, if it's going over 2 seconds, then you've got a problem, because most surveys have said that users expect a response time in 2 seconds or less. They're that impatient, they're that intolerant. So your users in this example are pressing on they're going to the brokerage screen, they're trying to get stock quotes, and the response time is average of 5.1 seconds. So we've got a problem here. They've gone to the money transfer. They tap on the transfer button, and again, it's taking on an average of 12.1 seconds. What's new in the summer release of App Pulse Mobile is the HTTP timeline. And why is this important? We take a look at all of it. What people don't realize is they're using a native mobile application that as they press a submit button or some request that they're trying to get data, it's making a call out to making an HTTP request to get that information. And what we see here on this first blue bar is the first call out for information was to get the account balance. We know that they were on the money transfer button, but to make that transfer happen, they had to first get the account balance. And we see down here that that account balance, that request, the response time took 6.41 seconds, and the first time to buffer was 4.49 seconds. And of course, the next thing that it was looking for was a call out for transfer money, and that took another 34.9 seconds. And the time to first buffer was 24.43 seconds. So the developer can also take a look and see, okay, this was on, again, it's on this app version 2.8, it's on this particular operating system, on this device, and this is the connection speed. So now they can take all of this information and make a determination, is this a network issue, or is this something that I have to drill in on the client side? So finally, I want to take you through the error messaging, error tracking, I should have said. And with the error tracking, we have the ability to, again, look at the actions that had the most errors. Here we see the users were tapping on the brokerage screen to get a stock quote. And during that time, 10% of the actions resulted in errors. And what's nice here is that you can see that it is on two different versions, 2.7 and 2.8. So as you're going and making changes in your application, it may have been fine on 2.5, 2.6, but something happened with the code as you were continuing to develop. And even though you were trying to make improvements in the UI, what really was happening was something that was going along making errors. And in the summer release, we've gone beyond just being able to look at the user actions, and now you can see the exact error message that is that is appearing on the user screen. So Joe, I'm going to hand it right back to you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Eric. And I think what we want to do our first polling question now. So for those of you in the audience, please answer the polling question that's now on your screen. How likely oops, I think it went away, Stephanie. At least it did for me. Can you put the polling question back up, Stephanie?
Yeah, it's live and running, Joe.
Okay,
It's just a little blue flower down at the bottom. It should pop back up.
Okay, I'm not seeing it.
Oh, would you like me to read the question for you?
Please do. Thank you.
Sure. How likely is your organization to consider a mobile application performance management tool? Are you considering it in the next 3 to 6 months? Are you considering it in the next 9 months? Considering it in the next 12 months? We don't monitor our mobile applications, or just don't know. And the votes are coming in. 65% of the audience has voted. And give it a few more seconds here. It's kind of interesting, Joe. Just wait to see. So I'm going to close the poll and share the results.
Okay, great. So Stephanie, I still am unable to see it.
You can't see it. Okay.
Yeah, sure
so I'll share it. No. Okay. So 9% of the audience is considering in the next 3 to 6 months, 4% in the next 9 months, 12% in the next 12 months, and 30% don't monitor their mobile applications, and 45% don't know. So I don't know if that's surprising or not. I think it's kind of interesting.
It's very interesting, and it sounds like we have some work to do in terms of educating or informing, I should say, our customers on the need for this. Okay, so with that, our next presenter is Ian Bromhead, and Ian's going to give us an overview of what's new in the business value dashboards and in Operations Bridge. So Ian, over to you.
Thank you, Joe. Hope you can hear me okay. And I'll try and fire up my screen here to show everyone the first part of what we're going to talk about today.
Looks great, Ian.
Thank you, Stephanie. So, Ian Bromhead in the same team as Eric, working for Joe. And my focus is on the Operations Center and our Operations Bridge product. What you're seeing here is another example of what Joe showed you a little bit earlier on. This is the new business value dashboard. And that's a term actually which is in the industry. You'll probably find quite a lot of writing about this kind of facility. And what we've done is listening to our customers is to create this new tool, the Business Value Dashboard, a tool that helps you to prove and communicate IT's value to the business in language and format which business executives understand. So here's this example. Let's just go and have a look at it very quickly. We can see we have business KPIs here, and we can see the actual values over time as they move around. We can see some aspects of visitors per week. This is looking at the visitors in terms of a bank branch. We can see also IT status in terms of availability and some of the key aspects of supporting the business and their status down at the bottom here. Online banking, other KPIs which are important to probably the line of business people in financial services, and then general aspects, all of these different types of data, whether it's status or whether it's KPIs, business metrics, or IT metrics, are merged in the dashboard.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ian, but we're only seeing part of your screen. We're seeing your stopwatch and then the top of the Oxbridge VOMI dashboard.
Well, thank you for telling me. Okay.
Now it's coming into view, Ian. So
okay, thank you. So,
great, thank you.
Okay, I'll carry on. So as I was saying, you can zoom over some of the key metrics as they're shown here. For total revenue, visitors per week per branch, eventually availability of IT systems is shown either as a graph or as a status bar, as you can see on the bottom. So yeah, this is a loosely coupled dashboard. It doesn't require a great deal of connectivity. It's usable practically on any browser, so it will work on many different types of devices, tablets or any other kind of field. So I just drilled down to show you a different view of the dashboard, and in this context you can see straight away that we've got Newsfeed, and you might be able to hear a streaming video feed. I'll turn the volume down. We've got a live video stream which is connected to this dashboard as well. It's very important. It can be all sorts of different streaming videos, either from the internet or within the corporate firewall as we need. So here again, we can carry on and drill down to be able to see different parts of the information which is being sent to this dashboard. These different types of dashboards are designed using standard Office tools like Microsoft Visio. So very easy to tailor and customize, and you can see how pretty they are and how they use to good advantage things like HTML5. This one's showing status of business and IT across different zones of the country, United States, with IT status shown on the left. And as we drill down to New York, we'll see that for this customer, he wanted to see also a major bank branch and you know, showing some of the things which are probably important to executives who are responsible for the services that they're providing to their users. Once again, as Joe mentioned earlier, more and more we're seeing that IT data mixed with business data can help to thoroughly influence what people do and stay focused on the user experience. Once again, you can see here there are metrics and status being superimposed. If I just switch here very quickly to an alternate representation, you'll see quickly how we can very easily change the background and change the format. And this is something you can do too. This has been introduced at HP Discover a couple of weeks ago. It's available today as a public beta. And I think we'll be showing you later on how to get registered on that. It's a simple address, www.hp.com/go/BVD. Okay, so the Business Value Dashboard, of course, is taking information from some key aspects of IT operations management. So what I want to do now is switch gears and show you how we brought out really a new monitoring architecture which marries real-time event management and performance management with the capacity to analyze. So let's go ahead and have a look at this demo. What you're seeing here is a brand new dashboard in our product called KPI over time. It's showing the different aspects of 3 applications, And this can be a view over a day, over an hour, or whatever we need. And we're looking at the aspects of overall service health of those applications. And if we wish, we can switch some of these things off. But we're seeing a problem that's come in here. We can see that there's an event which has come in, and that event so far hasn't been assigned. It's concerning the investment research application, and immediately as I choose that application, you can see the topology view is showing us that there's an issue, and we start to see the events for that particular issue. We're going to drill down and look at that event. Let's have a look at whether there's other information concerning this particular event. And actually what we see in the list of events, there are 3, but in actual fact there's only one that is the root cause. The others are symptoms. Now root cause correlation engine has detected which of these events is the one that we need to be spending time on. So we're going to assign this event to our operator, and our unassigned events list goes back to 0. And then we're going to take some action. In this case, this operator knows, because he manages these applications in this infrastructure, that the issue you can see is with respect to Vertica supporting this particular application. So what he does is to use a predefined workflow, which we're just executing now, showing you it executing. Actually, you probably wouldn't see this. It will be automatic. And that's added the capacity that we needed to remove our issues here. And we can see the topology is immediately reflecting that everything's okay, and the events at the bottom have changed status. So we seemed to have fixed this issue, and we can move on to our next issue. And in actual fact, as I speak, that issue is just coming in, and it's with our second application that's important, which is called online banking. Now, what we see here when we look at the event is not a lot of data. We don't have a lot of data concerning this particular event. And so what we're going to do is turn to this unknown problem and deal with it using the analytics part of our OpsBridge Ultimate solution. So now you're looking at the operations analytics product that I'm going to go through relatively quickly in this example, because Sandra's going to give you more details about this solution. Here what we're seeing is a dashboard for this particular application that's been predefined by the person who knows it. We can see the transaction response time is glitching. If we look over at system performance, there doesn't seem to be any issue with system, but we do see that our application is having a lot of issues, and we see when those issues started in terms of time. So going to look down a little bit further, and we see in log analytics that we can home in at that particular data and time, and hopefully find some more information from what would probably be millions of log files that we're collecting, and help ourselves to understand where this issue might be coming from. And lo and behold, actually, we do see that the transaction at this particular point in time was rolled back. We see that the exception occurred during commit of the transaction, and we get more and more information here that helps us to understand why did this actual problem occur. And it seems that some administrator made an error. He probably meant to change to 50 seconds instead of 5, and that's caused our problem. So we can come back now to our operations operator console, and we can execute a remedial action, which is just a script in this particular case, which is going to put that configuration back to its known good configuration that it should have, and that will remove our issue. So hopefully this gives you a rapid tour of what we can do with the OpsBridge Ultimate solution that combines the OpsBridge Operator Console with analytics. I'll turn it back to you, Joe.
Great. So Ian, before we leave OpsBridge, would you mind just quickly summarizing the entitlement for our installed base relative to OperationsBridge and some of the, briefly, some of the new capabilities around the time to value and the embedded database?
So just to give a couple of very good points. First, if you are a user of our previous operations management product, it's been on the market for quite a few years, it's been very efficient. If you have the right support contract on that product, then you are totally entitled to the OpsBridge Premium, which is capable of providing you very pretty dashboards here. It doesn't contain the OpsBridge Analytics product. That's in our Ultimate suite, which you can upgrade from fully implement the Upbridge product if you are using Operations Manager. And yes, Joe mentioned also that the Upbridge today is available as a standalone installation. It doesn't require BSM, although it integrates out of the box with BSM if that's what you have. And it uses a Postgres database which is supplied with the product for very fast 30-minute installation time to value. Okay, Joe?
Great, thanks, Ian. Thank you very much. So let's move on to our next polling question. And Stephanie, will you launch our next polling question, please? Okay, this time I can see it. In your environment, how do you foresee IT operators using management tools in the future? As a single pane of glass from existing monitoring tools, or an analytics solution for root cause and prediction, or both of these solutions are needed for operations? Okay, and we're seeing the results come in. 64% have voted. So I think we can close the survey there, and the results are that 94% of the respondents say both of these types of solutions are needed, and that is, I think, more of a validation, not a surprise. I think that's sort of our point of view within BSM too, that you need both. A single pane of glass, an ops bridge, and an analytics solution to really manage an enterprise environment in today's digital world. Okay, so with that, we are going to transition over to Sancha Norris, and Sancha is going to give us an update of what's new in operations analytics and what we announced at Discover, and just kind of a high-level overview of ops analytics. Sancha, over to you.
Hello, everybody. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, we're seeing the transaction performance over time.
Okay, great. Everything looks good?
Yep. Clear.
Okay,
thanks.
Great. Hello, everybody. My name is Sancha Norris. As Joe said, I'm the product marketing manager for our operations analytics solution. As Ian mentioned earlier, analytics is we're integrated with OMI and also part of OpsBridge Ultimate package. With operations analytics, it's an analytics solution. So the question that I would ask you is, with operations analytics, is what do you want to know? And that is how you use and what you would use operations analytics for. So in this demonstration, I'm going to go into a little bit more details about the full capabilities of operations analytics to give you an idea of what it can do. But then, ultimately, I hope you can take this understanding and go back and kind of think about how you would use it. So here, we're starting off with an email notification that you would get. You might set up to give you an alert to say that, hey, there's something going on with that doesn't look right with transaction performance in this case. And then we're going to, from this alert, go look at our dashboard to see, to get an idea of what's going on and start to troubleshoot what's going on. So trying to remove something from my desktop.
It's okay, Sancha, we can't see it. We're seeing your full Ops Analytics screen. Okay,
so here what we're starting off with is we come to our dashboard and we see an error. And here we see that, okay, we got the alert that the transaction response time is exceeding our threshold that we would like. So this is the dashboard for you to get an overall status of what's going on. Over here, you see a topology view of all the services and infrastructure supporting your application. This allows you to really, using topology to troubleshoot much faster. Here, at the lower left, we have a dedicated screen on the transaction response time, which was what you got, which is what you want to monitor and manage. And on the lower right, we're looking at non-IT data that's in your, so that's non-IT operational data. So this is more business metrics that that you might want to track in terms of how that correlates with your IT operations. So here we're looking at capital ratios from your bank, interest rates. How did that impact, if there is an impact, on your operations? The first thing that we would recommend in terms of troubleshooting is going back and finding out, well, when did a problem happen? And with operations analytics, we have a playback feature that allows, it's literally drag and drop motion to go back and look at how that problem has evolved through your infrastructure. And by identifying the start time of your problem, you're then able to focus in on your entire data set and analyze the relevant data rather than all the noise that's in your data set. And what we want to do then is, now that we have this information, we want to then go back. We want to use this information to start our troubleshooting process. You might also build a pane to look at your system performance. Here we're seeing CPU utilization and memory utilization, and this looks normal. Another thing we can also do is look at your logs. There's a lot of information contained in your log messages, and Ian showed this earlier. What we do, what's special about our log analytics, is that we use machine learning algorithm in the background to automatically sort through all the log messages that you have. So in this case, we're seeing 93,000 messages. We've had customers use it and looked at 14 million log messages to pull out the 20 that's really significant. And this is all something that is done automatically by our product, Operations Analytics, through machine learning algorithm that's developed through our HP labs. And what we'll look at here, what you're seeing here is that, here are the significant messages that you want to look into, and we want to drill down into that to see the exact details of your message. With all the machine learning algorithm, we also have an ability, if you see right here on the right-hand column, an ability to tell the machine that, hey, you're, with thumbs up, that you're on the right track, or, with this marker here, that, no, this, don't count this, this is not relevant. And then the machine, algorithm will then remember this and factor it into its algorithm to constantly fine-tune it for greater accuracy going forward. So in this case, we find the error message that's causing our problem, and it looks like the web logic is rolling back to transaction and the configuration issue. What we want to do then, because this error message is causing our application response time to go down, we want to try and track this log message in the future. And it's really literally as easy as a click of a button here. So by doing that click, we're going to track the message over time, and I'll show you that in our later on in a demo. So right now that we've found the error message, we want to kind of go back and understand why we're getting that message. Why is this error happening? And here, Operations Analytics has a way of looking at your data and finding a relationship within your data with a statistical correlation calculation. So here, I'm going to show you how that can be done. we're going to drag and drop. We're going to compare transaction response time and look at some of the financial metrics to help us understand what might be causing our transaction response time to go down. So here, it's, again, we're just going to click on it and say, let's correlate what's happening. And I'm going to drag the dashboard down. So here, we're now seeing on the upper right corner, we're seeing both the transaction response time and the financial data all in one pane. And then here below, what you're seeing is a correlation of all those metrics in all the different combinations that you could get. So here there are a total of 15 pairs. And here's where we can see, we can look and understand our data better in terms of, what might be related to and impacting the transaction response time. So the first one is kind of intuitive that, the more loan growth that you might have, the more users are coming to your website, and with the additional load that you may be, it would impact your transaction response time. So that is a 0.99 correlation. If you had a 1.0, that's perfect correlation. There are many scenarios that we can look at. Here's another one that's correlating the number of users against your response time. And again, I think this is also intuitive. And then we have a chart here to the right that confirms that. I won't go through all of these, but this is really a good way to explore your data and understand how your data is related to each other. I'm just going to click through this real quickly. And then what we want to do, now that we have that understanding of what's causing it, we want to see if, we want to kind of look into the future and see if this is an ongoing problem that we need to address, or is this a one-time problem or a recurring problem. So let's go ahead and look at our predictive capabilities on a transaction response time. And here, what you're seeing from this gray line forward is a prediction of future performance based on historical data. And again, in our predictive analytics, we are using a machine learning algorithm to learn what's the normal pattern of your data, and what's the seasonality of your data. And that's where you're seeing all these curvatures in the blue, because that's accounting for all the patterns that's normal in your data. So we account for that, and in this case, we see that the problem that we had was a one-time incident, and going forward, it should look pretty stable. So I know we're running short on time here, but what we want to do now then is go back to that dashboard, to that log message, the error message that we found, and then that we're keeping track of. And so when I clicked on that log message, it automatically created this chart to show you, here we were constantly seeing that message, and once we solved the problem, it went away. But what you might want to do is, hey, create an alert. If this happened again, alert me to it. So here's how you can create an alert. You can create an alert based on the baseline. If it breaches your baseline, you can create an alert on that, or you can create an alert based on a static threshold. So in this case, we're creating a baseline alert. We're going to say that if we see that log message, we're going to give it a high severity, and that you can choose how often you want to run your analytics to check that criteria. It can be hours or minutes, depending on how you want to set that up. you can set the range of the baseline, so to be narrow and or wider if you have a higher tolerance. And then if how you want to be alerted. If your performance exceeds that threshold, you want to be alerted, and then how many times do you want that event to happen before you're triggered to get an email? So if it bounced up once, do you want to be alerted, or if it's for instance, if it's something that can easily be more noise than fact, you may want to wait a few more times before you actually sent an email alert. So in this case, once you've set that up, you can decide how the different ways that you want to be alerted. And in this case, we're going to send it to an email address. And then that's basically the end of our demo. You can go back and go back to your dashboard and see if if your problem has been fixed, and move forward in time. Same playback feature. Now we're going back to today's time frame. We can see that our all our response times and services are back to normal. So that's it, Joe. I'll give it back.
Right.
Turn it back to you.
All right, great. So I think we have one more polling question. Let's do that quickly, Stephanie, if we can, and then we'll quickly get over to Michael. Looks like we're going over a little bit. I hope folks can stay on to see the Storage Operations Manager demo. Here's the poll. What is your average mean time to repair for solving critical IT operational performance issues? 2 to 4 hours, I guess between 0 and 4 hours, 1 day, 2 to 3 days, greater than 4 days, or you don't know or don't track. So for solving critical IT operational performance issues, please submit your responses. We have about half of the people that have voted. And we'll just wait a few more seconds to let people vote on this one. Okay. I think we can cut it off there, Stephanie, and share the results. And what we see is the average, most people between 2 and 4 hours. I would say the average is between 2 and 4 hours. But there's definitely people who have critical IT performance issues that last longer than a day. And I think that's actually, for me, that's a little surprising. I think for critical IT performance issues, I guess the nuances in there is what do we, how do you define critical? We hear a lot of anecdotes that it takes longer. But I guess it depends on how you define the criticality. Okay, so with that, I want to turn it over to Michael very quickly for a Storage Operations Manager overview and demo. Michael, if you could try to catch us up a little bit on the schedule, it would be greatly appreciated.
Sure. So just let me know when you can see my screen.
We can see it, Michael.
Okay, so I want to first just give you a quick idea of Storage Operations Manager's key role. And that key role is to save you money. And I'll show you an example of how you can do that. So just imagine that you're a Storage Operations Manager and someone came up to you and said, I need 50 terabytes for a new application. So this is our environmental capacity
Michael,
dashboard.
we're seeing Morro Bay right now.
Okay.
Now we're seeing it. Great. It's coming into view.
Okay, so as I said, this is our environmental dashboard. You were asked to be able to provide 50 terabytes for a new application. You can come here and you see, well, here's the storage system logical capacity. Let's see how much I have free. Oh, I only have 39 terabytes free. The normal response would be,
I guess we're going to go out and buy some new storage. But before we do that, let's go over here and take a look at host logical capacity. And we can see here we have free space of 174 terabytes. So we have plenty of space. We just need to move it from space that's been allocated to various hosts and back into the free storage pool. And if we want to know where we can get that from, we just double click on the pie chart and we can see here are the top hosts that have free storage. So this one has 30 terabytes free. The second one has 28 terabytes free. So this is one of the prime functions that Storage Operations Manager can do, is capacity optimization. As for the new things that we developed for the Discover release is our ability to track days to threshold. So one of the things that you would certainly want to be able to do is know ahead of time when you're going to run out of storage. And this chart shows that in 3 different ways. So the raw used percent, actual allocated percent, and actual used percent. And it shows you a breakdown of what's going to run out in 0 to 30 days and 30 to 60 days. So we can see here that there's one host that's going to run out, or I should say one set of raw storage. And I can click on that, and I can see that it's Taurus that's going to run out. It's going to run out of raw used in 25 days, of actual allocated in 74, and of actual used effectively infinity. So the 5 nines is infinity. And I can go through and also look at a whole set of other capabilities, you know, such as the RAID application, RAID usage. I can also get I/O rates as an example. The other new thing, and by the way, we have the same capability for storage pools. The other thing that we added in this release is the ability to track thin provisioning on virtual servers. So as you may know, at a storage array, you can thin provision, and that basically means I can tell a volume that it has more storage available to it than I actually have disk space available. And I can do that again at an ESX server for a virtual machine. So the question then becomes, how over allocated have I made things? And you can see here on this data store, I'm 5,000%, and that is 5,000% over allocated. And so I probably want to tone that down a bit, because that is highly excessive. Usually you're looking for something, you know, maybe in the 5 to 10, sorry, in the 100 to 200% range. I can also look at it as a specific virtual server. So here you can see that this virtual server attaches to 6 data stores, all of which are over allocated. And if I double click on that, I can see exactly which storage volumes, which data stores are over allocated. The other thing that we announced was our connection to UCMDB, and I'll just bring this up. This is a report from HP's Universal CMDB, and just to give you an example, here, this is a change report, so I'm showing what CIs have changed, and just as an example, this fabric, the fiber channel switch, was moved from domain 0 to domain 7. But this will track every change that happens, whether they're containers, display labels, or whatever. So with that, I think we have another poll question, and if not, turn it over to Joe.
Great, Michael. Thank you, and thanks for moving that along quickly. I think, you know, for some of the audience, Storage Operations Manager is a totally new product. You know, HTML5 interface, brand new rapid real-time discovery mechanism. It's a totally new product. It is the evolution for storage essentials, and we announced it at the show. And anyway, so thank you, Michael. And let's go to the last polling question, please, Stephanie. All right, so what is the total amount of disk flash storage capacity in your organization? Greater than 9 petabytes, 1,000 terabytes to 9 petabytes, 500 to 1,000 terabytes, 250 to 500 terabytes, or 1 to 250 terabytes. And let's watch as the questions come in. We've got about 36% voted, 38% have voted. Okay, it's slowing down there. So let's, we'll stop the voting there, Stephanie, and show the results. Okay, I saw them for a second. So the results, 22% greater than 9 petabytes, 30%, 1,000 terabytes to 9 petabytes, and then 19% 500 terabytes, 15% 250, and then 15% 1 to 250. So a lot of big storage environments out there in the audience. Okay, so with that, Stephanie, if we could just go back to my slides real quickly, and I will just do a quick summary, and then we'll wrap it up and take some questions. So we talked about AppPulse Mobile Spring and Summer release. Today, Eric gave us the demonstration of the device resources, so the battery usage, the network usage, crash analytics, mobile diagnostics, and the user flows. Ian gave us a presentation and demonstration of OpsBridge 10, which now natively manages the agents and includes the Operations Premium migration and license entitlement migration, the embedded database, the new dashboards, the ultimate package with runbook automation, operations analytics, reporting, cross-domain reporting. So check out the ultimate package. Operations analytics 2.3, Sancha gave us an overview and demonstration of the predictive alerting, the metric correlation, the log metric graphing, being able to graph anything from logs, metrics out of logs, or log messages. We didn't talk today about Virtualization Performance Viewer 2.2. That's our virtualization monitoring tool, and it does capacity management for virtual environments. Some of the new capabilities there are OneView integration. We added enclosure and business views, so you can look at your VMs for a particular consolidated infrastructure enclosure, or align to applications or services, and additional support for KVM and Amazon, and then included new REST APIs as well. And then Michael just gave us a demonstration of Storage Operations Manager 10. So Ian gave the demonstration of the business value dashboard. You can join the beta. This is a SaaS-based beta service. Very easy to connect data and build dashboards. Join the beta at hp.com/go/BVD and check out the new business value dashboards. And then you can find us online at hp.com/go/BSM and check out all the products and services that HP offers there. And this is the BSM landing page will give you access to APM, system management, storage management, operations analytics, as well as free trials, and you can contact us through there. Here's some additional links that are available for the products. We have Go links for all of the products, HP software, community of IT professionals, education services, support services, professional services. These links will be available to you in the slides that are made available after the presentation. Also, we wanted to do a quick advertisement. We have a big data conference coming up in August 10th through the 13th at the Westin Waterfront Hotel in Boston. You can register at the link. You'll find this link in the slides or through the Vivid link, which is provided there. And this is a big data conference for big data developers, and we'll have lots of big data solutions on display at the Big Data Conference. And with that, I want to thank you. We'll open it up for questions. Please complete the short survey, and you can opt in at hp.com for more information on HP software and products. And with that, we'll open up the question and answers. So we'll just take a, I know we're over on time and we're losing folks. So let's take, there's a question from Kay Cox. Michael, this one's to you. What vendor storage may be reported on in Storage Operations Manager? HP, NetApp, EMC, what vendors do you cover there?
So all of those that were mentioned. Yeah, so EMC and NetApp, we cover all those, and we're adding additional support on a very regular basis. And we can do that without creating a revision of the software. There's a process by which you just load effectively an additional driver.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we've made it much easier to add new devices. We do support a wide variety of storage vendors and models out of the box, and then we have a architecture and design that supports the ability to add additional models and vendors, as needed. So if you have a particular device vendor that you need that's not included in the support matrix, we'll work with you on that. We've architected the solution to make those additions quickly. The second one is to Eric. Can we configure AppPulse to send events to BSM and OMI?
Okay, so that is on the roadmap upcoming in our fall release. So currently it is not available, but we are beginning to do integrations with BSM as we speak, and we will be announcing that coming in September.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Sancha, the next one's for you. Is topology mandatory for Ops Analytics for better results?
It is not mandatory. I think it's always nice to have. You can, with our log analytics feature, we really just have the ability to go through and look at all your data, with our machine learning algorithm. So you don't need it, but depending on what analysis you might want to do, it can definitely be useful.
Okay, great. So I think we will stop there and adjourn for the day. I want to thank the audience for sticking with us. I know we went over on time, and we had a lot of people that stuck with us. So thank you, and please remember to complete the short survey, and you can opt in for more information at the links there, and the slides will be provided after the presentation. Thank you.
And Joe, let's just remind everybody that we'll put up a blog post with all the questions that we got. So if your question didn't get answered, take a look at the BSM blog, and you'll get them.
Great. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, everybody.